Hello everyone, and welcome to Capitol Watch for Friday, February 20th, our weekly look at the Missouri General Assembly. And joining us from our governmental relations offices in Jefferson City is our Associate Executive Director for Advocacy and our Chief Lobbyist, Mike Reed. And Mike, the issue that dominated things in the General Assembly as far as education is concerned this past week, once again, it was the student transfer issue, and especially on the Senate side, there was considerable debate on that bill, wasn't there?
Yes, that's right. In fact, the Senate devoted all of the week to education and the transfer bill. This is a huge bill and has a tremendous impact. What the Senate was working on most of the time was a definition of where we're going with the transfer bill and with virtual education. The virtual education proponents started out by trying to have virtual education open for every student in the state of Missouri. The footprint would have been a large part of the state of Missouri and very expensive. By the time the dust cleared, the bill now has in it that students in unaccredited and provisionally accredited districts and students in districts that would be unaccredited or provisionally accredited if DESE would change their attitude or call them that if they for 3 years do not meet the proper requirements. All of those students would be eligible for virtual education. It cuts down the universe. It is not that we're against virtual education. We believe virtual education is extremely important to the students of the state of Missouri and is an important tool to be used by school districts. This part of the way that this bill had was very, very expensive, and it would cost districts a tremendous amount of money. And they were putting into the bill, charging school districts more than is paid to MOVIP. And we just think that if you can make the money, if MOVIP pays the cost, that should be the cost that it should be. So it's a very interesting argument. There will be a lot more work done on this piece of legislation next week. There are a number of amendments that are still out there. I anticipate that the House will also start sometime next week working on the transfer bill. So for the next 2 weeks, I think education will take the forefront in the Missouri General Assembly.
So Mike, the amendment that was approved on the Senate bill is certainly an improvement over the original idea as far as virtual schools are concerned. Is that right?
That's very correct. It is a much better, it made the bill much better the way that it came out. The House is even better than that. And so the House version is even better than that. I'm sure when it comes to conference, we can get something that we can all live with. The most important thing is we want to make sure that the kids and the students who have the opportunity to transfer have the opportunity to transfer appropriately. We don't try to bankrupt districts, and all kids get a good, proper education.
So Mike, on the House side, you expect floor debate on the House bill this coming week?
I really do. The bill came out of committee on Thursday, and I know the Speaker wants to get this. This is a high priority of the Speaker. He wants to get this on the calendar and debated as soon as possible.
Right, Mike, another issue that saw some action this week that we've been following is legislation that would require a new U.S. citizenship test for students. Tell us where we are on that.
That's right. The House committee voted out a House substitute bill that tweaked the bill slightly. It would require districts to incorporate in their Missouri Constitution test questions from the federal citizenship test. And so I think we're getting to be a bill that we all can support. Again, it's not something that we are against the U.S. citizenship test. We have a tremendously good and Missouri Constitution test that takes in the Missouri Constitution, Missouri history, and citizenship in the state of Missouri. We don't want to throw that out and for something that we don't know about. So if we can meld the two, it's all the better.
Another issue that received some attention this week, Mike, a hearing on a bill related to the work groups that have been meeting over the past few months related to the establishment of Missouri learning standards. This involves the Common Core standards as well as an aspect of this issue. And there's been some controversy surrounding those work groups and reimbursement for costs and issues like that. So does this bill try to get at some of those issues?
This bill tries to correct some of those issues. It puts in payment for costs, for travel, for substitute teachers, and it tries to clean up the language that was passed in the last bill. It's an attempt to try to make sure that the will of the people is done. If the people want to look at, and we're looking at the Missouri state standards, and to see if we can make them better, let's make sure that everything is paid for the way it should be.
And Mike, earlier this week we had some bad weather move through the state of Missouri, and unfortunately that forced the cancellation of our scheduled legislative forum on Tuesday. So that doesn't mean, though, that our members can't go to Jefferson City during the remainder of the session. We certainly have some opportunities for them, don't we?
No, it was really sorry. I'm really sorry that we had to cancel. The legislature canceled the hearings on Monday, and they didn't come in until Tuesday afternoon. But it's extremely important that our members come to the S-band visits now more than ever. I mean, I heard it so many times this last week in discussion on the student transfer bill about, well, where our members stand. You know, have my members talk to me. Extremely important that you come, because all of the action of the Missouri legislature affects you. They're micromanaging sometimes the way districts do their business. You are elected officials just like they are. Please come and have a conversation on elected official to elected official basis on how their actions affect you and the students of your district and your ability to do your job. So it's extremely important that you come to the S-band visits now, but please come.
That's right, Mike. And the School Board Advocacy Network schedule of visits is on our website, and we have a link to those in our Legislative Voice newsletter as well, so you can look at what date is the appropriate date for your region to visit, although members can certainly visit Jeff City on other days as well, other Tuesdays in March and April. So we certainly urge our members to do that. Mike Reed, thanks a lot for being with us as always, and thank you for joining us on this edition of MSBA's Capitol Watch.